Hi, greetings to my lecturers and my fellow friends. We are from Group 5 and we are going to present about the negotiation in Iran nuclear issue. This is Kojole and I will present about the introduction and the background parts. International negotiation involve different objectives, priorities, cultures, and personality. The key challenges in achieving agreement between all the parties are complex. Therefore, the ability to determine the interests and concern of different parties involved are vital skill for all the negotiators. It helps them to achieve a desired common goals for all the parties. This report aims to analyze the negotiation between Iran and the international entities and determine the contributing factor that leads to the successful international negotiation. At the background of the case study, Iran begins the nuclear technology development in 1970s when US provide them with assistance. Their government claims that the nuclear technology is necessary for a rapid growing population and rapid industrializing countries. In 2003, International Atomic Energy Agency reported that Iran has breached the obligations within the Safeguard Agreement. And then they launched a negotiation with United Kingdom, France and Germany. However, the negotiation did not reach a consensus between all the parties. Iran has still continued to proceed with their nuclear development despite international opposition. From 2006 onwards, United States and international entities imposed sanctions to Iran due to the breach of the term of NPT. The sanctions mainly targeted oil and gas and petrochemicals. US sanctions prevent the export of refined petroleum products and restrict the business dealing with the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. In 2003, the president of Iran agrees that the suggestion from the international powers called for a resumption of the serious negotiation within the countries of the Iran nuclear issues. The countries are then undergoing 20 months of negotiation. The countries mentioned in the part is P5+1, which includes the 5 countries, which is China, France, Germany, United States, and United Kingdom, along with the European Union. The aim of the negotiation is to stop the uranium enrichment in Iran.
My name is Nurul Izzati. I am going to talk about the problems, concerns, interests, and conflicts and issues. Since President Donald Trump withdrew the US from the agreement in 2018, the JCPOA has been in risk. Iran has resumed some nuclear activity in retaliation for the United States withdrawal and for lethal assaults on senior Iranians in 2020, one of which were carried out by the US. The JCPOA is a multilateral deal between the P5+1, and because it is a multilateral instrument, it cannot be renegotiated bilaterally, as European Union foreign policy authorities have repeatedly stated. As a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which has been in force since 1970, Iran has previously promised to refrain from developing nuclear weapons. However, when the Pahlavi monarchy was deposed in 1979, Iranian elites pursued this technology in secret. Iran stopped working on nuclear weapons in 2003, according to US intelligence analysis, but continually to collect nuclear technology and experience.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is MOHAMMAD REJAB and I will continue to present about problems, concerns and interests on conflict and issues. Some of the deal's important features such as the quotations of secret sunset clauses with a restriction that expire between 2036 and 2031. The JCPOA's proponents, on the other hand, emphasize that the agreement's most critical provision will remain in place indefinitely. As a result, the existence of these clauses does not imply that Iran will be able to nurture a nuclear bomb once this restriction expired. Continuous, rigorous inspection and a permanent restriction on Iran having a nuclear weapons program are going elements of the agreement. The motivation that prompted the parties, particularly the US and Iran, to reach this agreement and their origin in regional conditions that predate the last 2 years of rigorous negotiations, the most important of which are the US war in Iraq and Afghanistan. These American wars created both a crisis and an opportunity for Iran. On the other hand, Iran was found itself surrounded on 2 sides by the most powerful military on the planet within months. Iran, on the other hand, share common interests with the US in both Afghanistan and Iraq, and if it plays its cards well, it might influence results in both trades to its advantage. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is LINA. I'm going to present how do they handle the conflict. Several UN Security Council resolutions between 2006 and 2010 mandate Iran to cooperate fully with the International Atomic Energy Agency examination of its nuclear activity. In the world of natural interest, the dominant means of dealing with the international conflict were conventional means of diplomatic, military, and economic influence, even the threat or use of force. These power politic tools are often used to resolve the conflict. Thus, individual government or coalition of government use armed threats to prevent or mitigate violent conflict, economic sanctions, and other tangible non-military threats and penalties, such as the withdrawal of foreign assistance and direct military action to construct demilitarized zones. The U.S. adopt the power politics strategy element in this negotiation, such as containment rollback, non-entanglement, and engagement. They deem that the most appropriate approach against Iran would be containment coupled with negotiating a new arrangement, credible military threats, and effective sanctions. In 2006, the UN Security Council placed economic sanctions on Iran to persuade Iran to stop enriching uranium and return to the negotiation table. Several restrictions were also revealed in the agreement, such as restrictions on Iran nuclear plants, labs, mines, and mines. After months of negotiation, the US and other countries, Iran has agreed to set major constraints on its enrichment nuclear facility and allow the international inspection, unrestricted access to its nuclear facility for monitoring, as well as potentially to undeclared sites. So Iran has pledged to halt the production of highly enriched uranium and plutonium that would be used in the material of nuclear missiles. It also took precaution to ensure that its facility in Fordo-Natanz and Iraq was solely utilized for domestic purposes. On the other hand, the European Union, the United Nations, and the United States have all agreed to suspend their nuclear-related sanctions on Iran. Although the United States pledged to eliminate its sanctions on oil export, it didn't eliminate its prohibition of financial transactions. In addition, the European Union, the United Nations, and the United States also enforced the embargo on weapons. It also formalized the snapback provision of the accord, which stated that all sanctions imposed by the Security Council will be reinstated immediately in the event that Iran violates the terms of the
present the result of CHEOW strategy. The win-win strategy that is used by Iran and the US is to maintain future business opportunity. For instance, Iran's economy displayed in need foreign investment, new technology, and broadened trading prospects for the non-energy industry. Having recovered trade partners in Iran, export of oil, agricultural products, and grocery goods increased when the sanctions were withdrawn. This will due in large part to the fact that the EU has become a major buyer of Iranian commodities. Thus, a government that publicly opposes such influence would reach a strong social reaction. In addition, all sides to a negotiation benefit when a win-win strategy is used, since it encourages the establishment of positive working relations. It is more probable that the party will act in the future if the connection between both parties is solid and stable. U.S. policy makers can tactically alter the relatively narrow limit of state method discussion with the Iran by improving the diplomatic relations in order to serve weapon control and democracy by controlling not just nuclear technology, but also Tehran's support for terrorism, easier session, democratization, and human rights. The safety of the citizen can also be guaranteed. It because if the discussion ultimately provides a breakthrough and the US enabled to build an embassy in Tehran, Department of State employees should fight any effort by the Iranian authority to limit their relation to Iranian citizens. Besides, Tehran Mirror must recognize that former diplomatic ties include specific obligations such as the free and equal movement of US and Iranian individuals.
We all know that a successful negotiation should result in a win-win situation. A win-win situation is defined as a partnership that results from carefully investigating the aim for you and your opposite side to reach a mutually acceptable outcome that gives you both as much as possible. Only when both sides consider each other's interests can a win-win negotiation be achieved. How it happened? In 1979, US Embassy in Tehran has been seized by the insurgent. This action is considered hostile by the US, so the US sanctioned Iran economy. And Iran government want to protect its national interests by building nuclear weapons. However, United States of America want to protect its influence in the region. What is the knowledge gained from this study? The first is Iran economic sector is worsened as long as the sanction is not lifted. And the second is US resort to this kind of foreign policy because it feels threatened and want to preserve its influence in the region. What we learn from this study? The first is we can learn from this case study that a win-win strategy can help you focus on shared interests and goals rather than status and power. And the second is this strategy will aim to address the requirement and objective of all the negotiating parties, ensuring that everyone benefits from this process.